Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm finally getting around to last week's One Piece chapter. Thank goodness there was a break, right? But anyway, it's chapter 1147, What We're Afraid Of. And as always, we open up with a lovely cover image. I thought we were potentially done with this story, but we've got Oka Child Yamato's Golden Harvest. It does seem to be concluding though. Yamato and Raizo are having a lovely celebration and feast, and Tama's there too. And in the background, I'm not sure who that is. Is that Ulti and Pepe? Maybe, I don't know. I keep saying Pepe. His name's Page One, isn't it? But she calls him Pepe. But yeah, so looks like that's coming to the end. So it'll be interesting to see what the next cover story is going to be. So where we left off, Sal has told Robin and Chopper to stay hidden. They're hiding behind his head in his hair. It's a really interesting scenario, right? And we're going to carry on from there. So the whole plan here is Sal's going to basically cover Robin and Chopper until they find an opportunity to save the children. And it seems here that this dude, I forget his name, he's not killing him, is he? That's the dragon dude. I keep forgetting this guy's name. Sommers, that's it. Is annoyed that there's two survivors of the O'Hara incident, and he's calling the Navy sloppy. And as we can see at the bottom here, Sal's beaten. I guess Robin and Chopper are hiding well in that hair, but it must be quite uncomfortable. And it's really cute that, Robin's really holding Chopper. They've always had a good relationship, haven't they? Chopper looks terrified. And it's interesting on the next page we see that I thought we'd get some panels of a fight between the Straw Hats and Gunko, but no, we're just jumping straight to Gunko beating them. So these two panels, showing the Straw Hats tied up and beaten. Obviously not the monster trio or Robin and Chopper, but it's like the weak trio plus Jinbei. So it's still quite an impressive feat that Gunko was able to defeat all four of them at the same time. And Brook gets a bit of a threatening in the bottom panels. So Gunko's done quite an impressive job already. They do talk about kidnapping the Straw Hats, but it gets basically refused by killing him because it would bring them into conflict with the Straw Hat pirates, especially like Luffy, Sanji, Zoro. So they don't want that on their hands. But then we see, after her threatening, that she's actually a fan of Brooks. She likes his music, even though she kicks him here. I do love Gunko. I don't know. There's something about her that's really likable. I'd love it if she's just like a secret ally or something, but I don't think so. And then in the bottom, even the Straw Hats kind of come to the conclusion that she's some kind of creepy fan. And also Sommers doubles down on the whole not wanting to fight an Emperor of the Sea. So yeah, it looks like the Straw Hats are getting lucky by being associated with Luffy. And I do love these panels as well. Like we've seen them before with like Sanji and Zoro and Nami, dedicating their loyalty to Luffy. Even with their life threatened, that they won't submit. And it's Brook's turn here that he won't submit to Gunko's request, and she shoots an arrow at him or kicks him or whatever. She kicks him even using her devil fruit ability. But interestingly, in the bottom couple panels, especially the bottom right one here, we see Gunko appears to grab her heart. I don't know if she's exhausted her power or there's something else going on there. And, we've got Summers talking with Killingham about being ready or whatever that means. So here we actually see what's so special about this giant pillbug transponder snail of Elbaf. I don't think they mentioned it before. It turns out it's used to transmit messages across the entirety of Elbaf. As we see here, this is what they were setting up. They've hooked Sommer's transponder snail to this giant pillbug transponder snail, and he's sending out a message to everyone and essentially the plan they've got here is they are taking the children. Well, we zoom through area 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's cool seeing all the monsters they're fighting here. But they're using the children as hostages, in order to sort of coerce Elbath into allying with them. So they didn't want the children; they wanted all of Elbath to fall under their bidding. So what's cool in these next set of panels is we see that Killingham subdued the ones at the school, and they think it's a great idea to reveal the name of the children who have been taken hostage, and they're actually going to wake them up from their sleepwalking. And as we see at the bottom here, they do indeed wake up from their sleepwalking, but they can't stop the walking part. So no more sleep, keep walking. And they're confused at what's going on, but obviously they're still being corralled by Gunko's power. So it's funny here, the children start trying to work out what the hell's going on, and Colin acts all brave and tries to tell them, we're kidnapped, we can't do anything, but I'm here, I'm a warrior, unlike you crybabies. And then in the bottom panel, he sees the dream monsters and immediately freaks out. That's a good old One Piece humor. And speaking of One Piece humor, we see what the ones on the giant ship Eric sort of rescue ship are doing. It's too damaged to go back and save Saul and the children. They start noticing like the dream monster wives of theirs, or their kids' mothers, and we see in the big panel there's more than just one of them. There's several of these monster women, and they just all kind of freak out in typical One Piece reaction faces. So it turns out those guys on the ship are useless. I guess Jory and Brogy are down, the ship's useless, and we've got this really cool shot of Sommers in the middle, observing what's going on with the ship in the distance, riding a really cool fawn snake. I love his power, it's really cool. And as we see at the bottom, he wants to now negotiate the situation with Chief Jarul. So I actually revealed this plan that they're just revealing now ahead of time, because I remembered it, but I talked about it before they got to here. But they're revealing their whole plan of using the giants as slaves in battle by taking the children hostages. And I love this shot at the top as well, where Ripley's holding Frankie like a doll. The size difference of the giants and the Straw Hats is quite impressive. And this bottom panel, I do love when One Piece does these quick little overviews of the situation and where everyone is, and you can kind of see they're all along the one branch, right? So they've got the castle here, and then going from left to right, you've got Jarul, and then the giant pirates up here. You've got the 10 children walking along, Gunko, Sommers, and the captured Straw Hats. And then at the far right, you've got the library and the school with Ripley and Frankie. It's really cool. I like it. It looks cool. So I don't know how far away they are. They make it look really small, don't they? But it's probably quite some bit of distance, being a giant tree and all that. What's really cool here now is they name the 10 children. So we first up get Ilva. We already kind of got her named, but and their different reactions are really cool. So Ilva's terrified and crying, and obviously Jarul's upset because it's like his great granddaughter or whatever. And then we get named we get Scaldi, Olav, and Karine, and we get one of the giants reacting to Olav, and then we get Mag, who's not as fast. None of these are fast. Actually, going back to Karine, it was kind of interesting that she's got kind of like a big nose, kind of like Usopp. And okay, so yeah, moving on. Mag, Ronja, who doesn't seem fussed at all and thinks it's all just going to work out. And another giant getting upset that it's his child. I guess it was Ronger this time. And then you got Bent, who's crying and is worried about getting yelled at. And Joanna, I'd pronounce it Joanna, I guess. She's saying, at least you have parents. It's like, interesting. She's not got parents, and she's one of those giants with horns of the ancient giant blood, I guess. I thought that was only going to be like royalty or something. And you got Bjorn, who's got his own weird little expression as well. And then obviously they reveal that the 10th one is Colin, who he even gets a nice little bit of a description of trying to save the other children. So Ripley obviously at the bottom here, worried, but Gaban proud of his son, I guess. But here we go. They're going to give their commands. So they are commanded to burn down the school and the library, as the Holy Knights deem these useless when giants should be warriors, obviously slave warriors for them, and that if they don't concede to these demands, they will execute the children one at a time, which is getting these giants, who probably are the furthest away, wanting to jump into action. And he's giving Jarul the command to make the call. Angie's up here, obviously frustrated. She holds the school and the library in high regard, and that just seems to annoy Summers. But here we see that Robin and Gaban immediately jump into action, and we end up with an amazing couple of poses for these two. Robin's already got, she's doing her devil fruit hand actions, like Cien Fleurs or whatever, and Gaban's already got like his weapon, I guess, and they just look cool. I love Robin. She's one of my favorite characters. I want to see her do something really cool. So it looks like, even though she's been told that these guys are invincible, she wants to do something, and she is right there. And actually, hang on. Yeah, how I earlier said about the overview's been really helpful. I just looked back at the overview because I was like, where is everyone? Robin's definitely right there, hiding it. She was hiding in Sal's hair, but Gunko's there as well. So I mean, she's literally there by herself. Like, I looked back at the overview, right, and Gaban is he near? Because based on the overview, he's where Dory and Brogy were, right? Which is the ruined ship. So he's quite a bit away. So is Robin going to be fighting by herself for a bit? Although she nudged my microphone. She can use her devil fruit to untie the other straw hats, maybe. Oh, but it's going to be interesting what happens in a week. Oh, it should be good. But until then, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. As always, bye.